This isn't exactly a new movie, but it's one that I really wanted to see, and I didn't get around to it. And I saw the trailers for this all over the place, and I guess like it wasn't really hyped, but it was shown a lot, and then I never heard anything about it like after it was released.
Yeah, see, I knew all about it because I followed it because like I was telling you when I first saw the first preview, I didn't know anything about it, and I thought they were making a Fallout movie, and I'm a huge fan, and I have been for like 14, 15 years. The first one came out like 95, 96, something like that.
Yeah.
And so I kept up with it a lot, and I really, I saw it in the theater and everything, and this is probably like maybe the 5th time I've actually seen it.
Oh, wow.
Just now,
Yeah. No, I had never seen it. I really wanted to, and then it kind of fills it out. I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't that great. Maybe the audiences know something that I don't.
Well, that was a January release. It wasn't a summer release.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that had a lot to do with it.
I think it was January, February, somewhere around there.
Yeah, January's a fucking death slot for releasing movies.
I know, which is kind of weird, because it wasn't a bad movie.
No.
It could have been a summer movie, I thought.
I loved the shit out of this movie.
It was good, right?
It really was. And the thing is, I'm easy to please when it comes to action movies. I'm hard as fuck to please when it comes to comedies, which is why I don't.
Yeah, I know. You don't like anything with that title. I know.
Well, if they don't make me laugh, it pisses me off. Like it's not just that I'm indifferent. So those are hard for me to review, and that's why I don't do it.
Yeah, I don't blame you because I want like big belly laughs out of a comedy. But
and then when it doesn't work, it just pisses it really is like being in the presence of someone who's trying to be funny and isn't succeeding, and it just makes
like annoying.
Mad.
Yeah. You're just like, dude, just shut up.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, fucking. I really loved this movie, and the thing that surprises me...
me too.
Fucking hell. No, but the thing that surprises me about this is that I was expecting something like The Rundown, where it's, action-packed, and... You didn't like The Rundown?
Well, I thought the action was really cool, especially the stuff he does with the guns at the end.
Yeah.
But as a movie,
it's just okay, yeah. That's what I was expecting
It was fun to watch, yeah.
But this actually has...
This makes me think a little bit more.
It does, It does. It has a story that actually really fascinated me.
Yeah.
Because they're obviously talking about the issue of religion in this movie.
And I usually hate that movies because it usually gets really preachy.
Yeah.
But this was different.
I'll tell you, this is portraying faith in a positive light, to be sure.
Yeah.
But it's not portraying faith by one point of view, because the issue at stake here is, you have the protagonist and the antagonist, and both of them want to use faith for different ends.
Yeah.
One guy wants to use it to,
for power,
for power, and the other wants to use it, the way it could be argued that it should be used. Yeah. And that, I don't know that I have seen it done quite that way in movies where, like you say, usually this gets really preachy.
It's almost like evil God versus good God.
It is, and they are. I think they're portraying religion in the way that I think the reality of the situation is. There are a lot of people I think that might be offended by this movie because faith is portrayed in a positive light, and others are probably going to think that this is the correct way to do it. But I think the issue at stake here is, faith is just like anything else. It can be used for good and it can be used for evil.
Yeah.
And I liked the way they were exploring that. I can't quite think of another movie that's done that. And I actually became really invested in who was going to prevail and how they were going to prevail. And the ending of this movie I thought was awesome. The final reveal at the end of what actually is in the book I thought was really kick-ass.
Also, well, did you get the other reveal too? Did you notice that about Eli's character? He's blind.
That he's
the whole
blind.
time.
Yeah, I know. No, that hit me. That completely came out of left field for me.
It proves that in this world of this movie that God does exist. That God is very real. But what I thought was kind of funny was, well, okay, so if that's right, then God at some time must have been like a deist God. He must have just not giving a shit, just let us just blow ourselves to shit and be like, oh fuck, what did I do? Now I gotta rebuild.
Now he's getting involved. Yeah. But then I suppose it could be argued that if you believe this sort of thing, that God does reveal Himself in times of strife as opposed to when times are good. Because what does He need to be there for when times are good and this and that? But
winter times ever good.
Winter times ever good. Exactly. But these are the kind of things that actually really did make me think, and for an action movie, which this does deliver on the action front, I think is really interesting that they would bother to make you think.
Yeah.
And this really did. I started thinking about the logistics of the issue of the Bible being put in a museum or used because they said that they had all been burned in the war.
Mm-hmm.
But it made me wonder what happened to all the other religious documents in the world. Like
maybe it's the same thing. Maybe all were, because they thought, well, maybe it's just religion in general.
Yeah, maybe they burned all of them.
And maybe these guys are just have the Bible because they obviously they're pre-war guys and they were probably Christians, before the war. Yeah. So it strikes them, I guess. I don't know.
It makes me wonder what would have happened if he had come across a book from L. Ron Hubbard. Like, would we all be
he's got Dianetics. He's carrying Dianetics across the wasteland. Protecting it with his life. Hail Lord Xenu.
Hail Lord Xenu, exactly. Yeah. But this was it is an action movie and it does deliver there from beginning to end.
It could have used a little more, but still it worked. It was good.
It slowed up a little bit in the end, I have to say. But
I don't know. It always kept me invested. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Great performances in this movie, like
really
better than Gary Oldman always.
You can't go wrong with Gary Oldman. He's a bad guy.
Yeah, and Denzel Washington can do both drama and action, and he's kind of doing a little bit of both here. And so that was a really good casting choice.
Because I've never seen him do action like that, like martial arts and things like that, and he did pretty good.
Yeah.
Unless it was at some points it looked like it could have been a stunt guy. Sometimes it's kind of like shadowy.
And it probably was.
Most likely,
but, but you can stick him in this role and he does very well.
Yeah.
Better than I think someone like Bruce Willis, who predominantly only does action, probably would have in this role.
You never saw Moonlighting?
That's a good point. Yeah. Well, Moonlighting was not without action, but you're right.
I don't even really remember it that well. He wasn't in that, was he?
That's what I thought. Was. That's where he got to start. He was also in The Sixth Sense. I'll give him that. He did act in The Sixth Sense. So. Yeah. But I like Denzel Washington. I like him pretty much everything he does. Yeah. The girl from That 70s Show.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was her at first because she was actually playing a role other than the obnoxious teeny bopper. Yeah. And she did pretty good.
Yeah, she's been good in other stuff too.
Yeah. What was the name of the people who directed this?
Oh, the Hughes brothers.
Yeah, I can't put my finger on anything else.
If I remember correctly, they did like Higher Learning. I think they did that one, or was that John Hughes? Well, yeah, John Hughes is one of the Hughes brothers, I believe. They used to do like a lot of the bringing the black man down movies, kind of like Spike Lee.
Oh, right.
Theirs were always better. Theirs were more, I thought, socially relevant. And things. But yeah, they've done other. You know what? Can we look up IMDb real quick on this?
Let's find out.
Can we do that?
So, I guess they did From Hell.
Yeah, I had no idea about that.
They haven't directed anything that I've ever seen before.
Yeah, but Menace to Society and Dead Presidents were both... I always used to love those movies.
I'm going to have to...
I didn't know it was them.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going to have to see some of this, because they shot this in a way that was very competently shot. Like,
well, but even if you watch those movies, those are like really well made films.
Are these action movies or?
Dead Presidents has they both have action, but Menace to Society is more like a urban like gangster film kind of like gangbanging film, and then Dead Presidents takes place it's like Vietnam era. Oh. And you'd have to watch it.
Yeah.
It ends up with a bank robbery with all these guys who were in Vietnam together. And
I'm gonna have to check those out.
But the Vietnam scenes are fucking nuts, dude. Like this one guy, this guy in their unit, he carries a head of a Viet Cong soldier in his
Holy
back.
Shit.
And everyone's perfectly fine, and it starts rotting, and he just like holds it whenever they stop and just looks at it and stuff. And they're like, get rid of that fucking thing. Finally, he gets rid of it. They all start dying. Guts everywhere. And then he lives and comes back, and he's a preacher back in the world. That movie is fucking nuts, dude.
Oh, be damned. There are a lot of elements in this movie that were reminiscent of like one of those old Clint Eastwood movies where he's a man of few words and he goes from town to town and he gets into situations.
Yeah.
And at first, I'm like, I am okay just seeing how he's going to deal with these situations. Like, you have 60 people standing up at a bar, and how is he going to take out all these people and this kind of thing. But it really is like the seeds of the idea about religion, which I have a deep fascination about.
Yeah, me too.
And the way it's portrayed here was very original, and it really did. That really is what kept me going here. Like, if this had just been an action movie, it would have been a fine action movie. But maybe if they had added a little more. Good. Well, I think the action could have driven it to the point where it would have been entertaining.
Yeah.
But because of the subject matter in this, I think this is something I'm probably going to watch a few more times, because it was interesting and awesome at the same time. And sometimes that's hard to pull off, but this really did.
Yeah. Yeah, this was really. I don't have much else to say about it, really.
No, me either.
I've pretty much said everything.
Yeah,
you know?
There isn't a whole lot in here.
Oh wait, one more thing. Fallout New Vegas come out in 9 days.
Awesome. Yeah, I've never played a Fallout game. I really need to. Yeah.
They're all well, except for there was a couple. There was Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, which came out only on Xbox, the original Xbox. That was a piece of shit. There's Fallout Tactics, which wasn't bad, but it didn't have the sandbox, free world RPG
I love
element.
the sandbox thing.
Yeah, it was just like a turn-based or real-time, however you want to do it, strategy game. That's all it really is. But yeah, those are great games, and yeah, this movie reminds me of those games so much, except for there's like no super mutants or ghouls or nothing like that. But another thing it gets in Book of Eli, cannibals, their hands.
Yeah.
You ever heard anything about that?
No, I don't know very much about cannibalism.
I thought that was really weird. So a while ago I actually looked that up, and it turns out that if you eat enough human meat, you can develop this. You get a disease, and you can develop the shakes. They say it's rare, though. I guess.
Huh.
So it was kind of a weird thing to use. Like,
yeah.
I guess maybe it would be more prevalent if you're like constantly eating human meat. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a weird thing.
I thought it was a little weird too. How even if there was a human catastrophe to where there's not a whole dark stores.
You kind of have to.
You might have to do that. Yeah. I would probably sooner eat a cat like he did at the beginning of the movie, but I guess if it's there, what are you going to do if it's between that and starving?
Yeah. I don't know, honestly, if I knew that there was going to be a huge nuclear exchange right now, and that I could either sit in a vault for 30 years or just take it like a man and die, I'd probably just accept the bomb.
Yeah, I think I probably would too.
I wouldn't want to try to survive in a world like this. As much fun as I've been doing it, in a virtual world for the past 15 years.
In reality,
it's just not fun.
No,
it can't be.
I can't imagine that would be a fun situation.
Yeah.
Because everyone would have to resort to Soylent Green.
Yeah. Well, except everyone would know what they're eating.
Exactly. Yeah.
They wouldn't need some guy in a neckerchief to tell them.
No, this movie was awesome, and I highly recommend it.
Me too.